We live in interesting times. Hello, I'm Giancarlo Matera with the top news stories in the United Kingdom this week. Queen Elizabeth II presents new UK government programme in Parliament. Boris Johnson's Brexit deal secures first win in new Parliament. And Liverpool will respect Flamengo and go to win the Club World Cup. Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Thursday put Britain's departure from the EU at the top of the agenda, as Queen Elizabeth II read out his plans for government in a parliamentary ceremony following a sweeping election win. The monarch formally opened Parliament with plenty of traditional pomp and pageantry before the red-robed members of the Upper House of Lords and the MPs from the Lower House of Commons. Top of Boris Johnson's to-do list is a bill to rectify the terms of Britain's Brexit from the European Union, which he negotiated in October, but could not get through a deadlocked Parliament. Now, with a comfortable majority in the 650-seat House of Commons, he hopes to push through the deal in time to fulfill his election campaign pledge to get Brexit done on the next EU deadline. The Queen's speech normally takes place about once a year, but there was one in October after Johnson became Conservative leader in July, following an internal party vote. Rebellions over Brexit left him without the common support he needed to govern, so he called for a snap election and won in a landslide. As a result, Thursday's speech was scaled down, with the 93-year-old monarch insuring her horse-drawn carriage for a car and her regala for a matching coral, hat and coat. The highlight of the proposed legislation was the Withdrawal Agreement Bill to rectify the terms of Brexit, which will be put to a first vote among MPs on Friday. It covers Britain's financial obligations to the EU, the rights of European expatriates, and new arrangements for Northern Ireland. The bill will also enshrine the dates of a transition period, which will keep EU-UK ties largely unchanged until December 31, 2020, to allow both sides to sign a new trade deal. The period can be extended for up to 2 years, but London insists this will not be necessary. Boris Johnson, a leading figure in the 2016 referendum vote for Brexit, says it is time to end years of political wrangling over the result. But the EU has warned the timetable is extremely tight to agree a new relationship after Britain leaves the European Union single market and customs union. The Withdrawal Agreement Bill also includes plans to allow courts, other than the Supreme Court, to overturn European Court of Justice rulings, to ensure Britain can more swiftly turn around itself from European case laws. Johnson's Brexit deal secures first win in new Parliament. Britain's new Parliament on Friday initially approved a revised EU divorce deal that sets up high-stakes clash with Brussels over their future ties. The 358 to 234 votes paves the way for Prime Minister Boris Johnson to deliver on his winning general election promise to get Brexit done by January 31. But it also pushes Britain and the remaining 27 European Union member states closer to another cliff edge that could end decades of unfettered trade when the post-Brexit transition period shuts at the end of 2020. The main opposition, Labour Party, out of power since 2010 and divided by internal conflicts over Britain's place in the world, was relegated to its worst defeat since 1935. Johnson's triumph dispelled any doubts over whether Britain would follow through on the results of its 2016 referendum and become the first nation to leave the European Union, ending almost half a century of EU membership. Now is the time to act together as one reinvigorated nation, one united kingdom filled with renewed confidence in our nation's destiny and determined to take advantage of the opportunities that now lie before us, Boris Johnson said. It will be done. It will be over. The sorry story of the last 3.5 years will be at an end, and we will be able to move forward. The government hopes to hold a final vote on Johnson's separation terms on January the 9th. 2020. Yet Britain remains a politically divided country in which debates over European rage on. The Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn is stepping down in the wake of the election fiasco, but he told Parliament ahead of the vote that Johnson was setting the country on a reckless direction that handed power to big businesses and risked consumers' health. "We still believe it's a terrible deal," Corbyn said. "This deal will be used as a battering ram to drive us down the path of yet more deregulation and towards a toxic deal with Donald Trump that will sell out our National Health Service," he said. The Scottish National Party parliamentary head, Ian Blackford, also maintained his doom-laden vision of Brexit. Blackford warned that Britain was now blindly hurtling towards the cliff edge that would cost thousands of jobs in Scotland. "We reject the toxic Brexit legislation and make the case clear that this UK government cannot drag Scotland out of the European Union before gaining the legislative consent of the Scottish Parliament," he said. The SNP independence drive is likely to remain a concern for Johnson's government in the months to come. Britain's nervous financial market rejoiced when Boris Johnson's governing Conservative secured a comprehensive majority in the House of Commons. The healthy margin appeared to remove the possibility of more months of political uncertainty and chaos, and of Britain crashing out of the European Union without any arrangements for what comes next. But the pound fell back to its pre-election levels when Boris Johnson introduced a series of small but potentially consequential changes to the official withdrawal agreement bill. Britain's formal departure on January 31 had been due to be followed by an 11th-month transition period during which things would stay pretty much as they are now. The sides are supposed to use the time to negotiate a comprehensive new agreement covering everything from trade to security and data protection. EU officials warn that such deals usually take years to hammer out. But Johnson ruled out the possibility of asking for a deadline extension in the vision of the bill before Parliament on Friday. And in sporting news, Liverpool will respect Flamengo and go to win the Club World Cup. Liverpool's football manager Jurgen Klopp has responded to suggestions that the Club World Cup doesn't matter by insisting Saturday's final against Flamengo represents a massive opportunity for the Anfield club. Klopp's team have taken time out of their Premier League title push to come to Qatar for a competition that is viewed differently in Europe to the rest of the world. While Flamengo's fans have travelled to Doha in large numbers to back their team's bid to become the first South American winners since 2012, very few Liverpool supporters would rather see their side lift the Club World Cup than win their first English title for 30 years, or even retain the European Champions League. The view in Europe is completely different to the view in the rest of the world, but that view has changed for me since I have been here, said Klopp. For us, it's really special now. We are here, so we want to give it a proper try. Yes, we feel the tension in this situation, but we feel it's a massive opportunity. While for Flamengo, the game comes at the end of a successful season in which they won the Brazilian title and the Copa Libertadores. Liverpool are not even halfway through their Premier League campaign. After Saturday's final, they will return home to prepare for a traditionally busy festive period in England. The next Thursday's trip to second-place Leicester City, the first of 3 league games in 8 days, and the Merseyside derby, an FA Cup tie against Everton following them on January 5th. If Flamengo go back and they win, they will have a proper party. And we will play Leicester City. For us, it's different, but who cares? That's how it is. It is the most important thing at the moment for us because we are here, Jurgen Klopp added. Liverpool may have won the European Cup for the 6th time last June, but they have never won this competition, losing the final to Sao Paulo in 2005. They also lost to Zico's Flamengo in the old International Cup in 1981. Bob Paisley's team, featuring the likes of Kenny Dalglish and Graham Souness, being beaten 3-0 in Tokyo. We are making this big for ourselves because this is important, a chance to put our names in the history of the club, said the Liverpool's Brazilian goalkeeper Alisson, who watched as a 14-year-old fan when his team, Internacional, beat Barcelona to win the trophy back in 2006. I think there were more than 10,000 Flamengo supporters here for the last game, but it's not just big for them, it's also big for us. Klopp is hopeful that star defender Virgil van Dijk will be able to play after illness kept the Dutchman out of the Monterrey game, meeting Jordan Henderson partnered Joe Gomez in central defence. He was also full of praise for their Portuguese coach, Jorge Jesus, who has had a remarkable impact in his 6 months in charge of Flamengo. He has obviously done an incredible job since he has been there. I think if there were an election at the moment, he would actually become president of Brazil, even if he's from Portugal, the German joked. The work he is doing in Brazil and that he did before in Europe gives him the opportunity to go to a European club again if he wants. But maybe Rio is such a nice city that he wants to stay. In lifestyle news, Iglesia Ni Cristo members bring smiles to nursing home residents in Manchester, reported by Grace Rivera.
The gift of giving is truly a wonderful thing. Too often we underestimate the importance of small acts of kindness to people who need it most. Charitable acts comes in different forms and manners of generosity. Today, the members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo paid a visit to one of the nursing homes in Manchester. For what normally is an ordinary quiet Sunday, for the residents of the home has been livened up by an afternoon of musical performances by groups of children and youngsters who were only too excited to sing and perform to the elderly dwellers and the staff members. The residents were most welcoming and happily joined in clapping and singing along with the songs. Most of the residents of the care home have varying stages of dementia. An afternoon of musical activity and a couple of hours of the children's presence in the home have really made a positive difference to their normal daily routine. This is only one of the many acts of kindness we can share with people around us. I am Grace Rivera and I'm one with 25.
And Open Art Gallery in Hamburg by an award-winning photographer Tobias Findrich. Reported by Eva Marie Kraus.
Moin! Today I am at the 20th Open Art Exhibition in Hamburg, Germany. This art exhibition, called Below Surface, Life Under the Sea, shows 57 photographs of interesting insights into the deep ocean world. Let us dive right into it! This exhibition, that had its opening on September 18, 2019, shows 57 different photographs starting from animal diversity all the way to sunken shipwrecks and icebergs. They all have been captured by the underwater photographer Tobias Friedrich, who is considered to be one of the most awarded underwater photographers in the world. Tobias Friedrich has always been fascinated by the underwater world and therefore started his expedition around the world. He has taken extraordinary shots showing various perspectives of the water surface during dives in Egypt, Iceland and Costa Rica. He even managed to capture a beautiful close-up shot of a 16-meter humpback whale back in 2012. This exhibition stands in cooperation with Horizonta and AMEP. These organizations have the goal to support nature projects and to make at least a small contribution to saving the planet. If you are interested in photography as well as the underwater world, you should give this exhibition by the Underwater World Photographer of the Year 2018, Tobias Friedrich, a visit. The entry is for free until the 29th of March 2020. Your great adventure through the underwater world starts here in Hamburg, Germany. I am Eva Marie Krause and I am 1 with 25.
And correspondent Irabel Celestino visits Milan, Italy, and shows us some of the best foods to try out.
Hi everyone, I am Irabel Celestino and I have a question. When you hear people talking about Italia or Italy, what's the first thing that crosses your mind? I certainly think about food: pizza, pasta, gelato, tiramisu. I'm in Italy, and now that it's summer season, I'll show you the typical food Italians get to eat in a fine summer day here in Milan. Let's go!
Milan is such a beautiful city, and with a weather like this, it is only right to go around while eating gelato. Gelato or ice cream is a typical frozen Italian dessert. Surely you cannot say no to ice cream. Hazelnut, mango, and sometimes coconut are my favorite flavors. But there are so many flavors you can choose from. Pizza. What's pizza? Well, everybody must know what pizza is. Pizza is usually round, sometimes squared, and it consists of wheat-based dough, tomato sauce, and cheese. These are the main ingredients for the well-known margherita pizza. Granita, also known as granita siciliana, is a semi-frozen dessert usually served as a slush-type drink. In simple terms, think of a crushed-up fruit popsicle. It's really refreshing, and it's perfect for a hot summer day.
If you ever visit Italy during summer, don't miss out on the food. From Milan, Italy, I am Irabel Celestino, ABC correspondent, and I am 1 with 25.
Christian Family Convention, organized by Iglesia Ni Cristo members in Heathrow, United Kingdom. Reported by J.D. Season.
Today I'm here at the Christian Family Convention organized by members of the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ. The church congregations of Heathrow North and Heathrow East have been preparing fun-packed booths for weeks. Let's go check them out.
We learned a few important Bible verses. There's some verses that I haven't read about and I like. I like how the minister talked about how start a family, what's the basis of a good family, which I think is love as it was shown there in the PowerPoint.
The Church of Christ members set up different booths to help teens, young adults, aspiring parents and family members in keeping the bond and love within the family. Though these booths activities were conducted to help convey their message of the importance of family.
Yes, I like the shadow storytelling book. I like
For the aspiring parents, they were taught about basic things like securing their child car seats, warmth of food, and clothing for their infants.
That gave me a sense of unity and a sense of being with the family. That it's not just a church, it's a family. Everyone's so united, everyone's so friendly, and I think everyone looks out for each other.
Well, wasn't that fun? New aspiring parents learned how to care for their newborn child. Children enjoyed stories and games, and families got to leave with a family portrait. Something for a special and memorable event like this. From EBC London Bureau, I'm Jericho Season, and I'm 1 with 25.
These have been our top stories this week. Please continue to read and watch the news on www.eaglenews.ph, eaglenewslive.com, and you can follow us on Facebook at Eagle News International or on Twitter at EBC United Kingdom at Eagle News UK. From our London studios, I'm Giancarlo Matera from EBC United Kingdom, and I am 1 with 25.